Thank you. Today, the Commission took two decisions related to the independence of Polish judges. The Commission's decisions aim to ensure the implementation of decisions of the Court of Justice. They relate to actions by the Polish authorities which continue to undermine the functioning of the Polish justice system. First, the Commission decided to request the Court of Justice to impose financial penalties on Poland to ensure compliance with the Court's interim measures order of 14th of July 2021. Second, the Commission also decided to send a letter of formal notice to Poland for not taking the necessary measures to comply fully with the judgment of the Court of Justice of the 15th of July 2021, finding that the Polish law on the disciplinary regime against judges is not compatible with EU law. Further information in our press release published earlier today.
Hello, Eric.
Hi,
Eric. My question is about the announcement that you will be asking the European Court to impose a fine in Poland. Do you give any guidance, or is there any guidance available on how the size of that fine is determined? I've seen various figures bandied about, but I'm just wondering, is there's any sort of official guidance on how that sum is determined, or is it left up to the court itself?
Thank you, Catherine. The request from the Commission does not indicate any amount, and indeed, as you have just said, we leave it to the court to determine the amount to be set. Are there any other questions on this issue? Noting, of course, that we will have a technical briefing on this. Tomasz.
It's Tomasz Bielecki of Deutsche Welle and Gazeta Wyborcza. So the Polish government has answered to the European Commission to its concerns in August. I'd like to ask whether the European Commission did find the content of the answer unsatisfying, or the pace of implementation of promises given by Prime Minister Morawiecki. He promised to the Commission to remove disciplinary chamber for the Polish legal system, for example. So was it the pace or content not fulfilling the Commission's expectations? Thank you.
Thank you, Tomasz. Listen, we have published a press release with the things that we can say on the record on this. I would ask you to keep those questions then for the technical briefing, which will go more into detail into the reasoning behind today's decisions. All right? Any other questions on this, but taking into account what I've just said? Dis-moi, Carl.
Yes, I wanted to know whether the Commission, as the guardian of the treaties, has the impression that for several years now the whole mechanism of the EU is at threat, because we don't just have cases in Poland. Do you think, compared with 10, 20 years ago, the legal architecture of the EU is under pressure, and is the Commission planning to react? Well, on the second part of your question, I think the answer is very clear. We are reacting. We react every time there is something that occurs, and where a national authority acts in such a way that we need to intervene. So I think our policy is very clear on that. I don't want to now get into a discussion comparing the situation 20 years back with today. The EU we have today is no way the same as we had 20 years ago. We have grown in size geographically, the number of member states, and we've also grown in terms of the number of policies that have been incorporated into the treaty. So it's very complicated to compare the two situations. But I think at the end of the day, what counts is that the Commission is continuing to play its role as the guardian of the treaties and acts where necessary. Do we have any other questions on this subject? Yes?
Oui. Bonjour, Maria Audrescu pour la Libre Belgique.
Yes, good morning for the Libre Belgique. I just wanted to know what you can tell us about your discussions with the Polish authorities what's their attitude vis-à-vis this subject? I imagine you've been in contact since the response that we all know about that you received. So I just wanted to put that question to you. Just how would you qualify the relationship there? And secondly, if I may, I'd like to put the question again, even though I think already what the answer is going to be. What sort of impact will this procedure have, given that we'll be imposing fines on a country? What sort of impact will that have on the green light being given to the Polish recovery plan? Thank you. Well, on the second question, you already know the answer. The analysis of the Polish plan is continuing. We're doing that on the basis of the criteria laid out in the regulation. A lot's been said on this subject in the last few days, so I'm not going to repeat once again everything that's been said. On your first question, as with all the member states, the dialogue with Poland is a constant one. It's intensive and it covers all subjects that are of common interest. We know that with a member state there may be points of agreement and ones of disagreement, and the role of the European Union is to work on all the subjects with each and every member state, and that is the case with Poland as it is with all the other member states of the European Union. Do we have any other questions on this point?
Is it on this issue?
Yeah, it is, Eric. There's one thing I'd like to get you on the record on for this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Commission could have requested a certain amount for the daily fine. You've just said that you didn't, but I believe you could have. If that is correct, can you give us any explanation as to why the Commission chose not to do so?
Sorry, but that's not an interpretation that I can share. I'm not saying that you're right or wrong, but simply I do not have that information. So I would ask you to ask that question to our experts during the technical briefing. Naomi, is it on this issue?
Hi, Eric. Yes, it's on this issue, although possibly you just answered my question. I was going to ask whether you could give us if there was any framework for the amount which fines could be, but perhaps it's one for the experts. Thanks.
Yes, please ask that question to our experts during the technical briefing. All right, I see no further questions on this issue, so let's move to other subjects today.